Okay, I was flipping through Untethered Soul, and great book. Just saw this, and I'm like, I'm just going to read it and share it with us, right? So you will get to a point in your growth where you understand that if you protect yourself, you will never be free. How in line with that is the conversation with Abraham? If you go to protect yourself, you'll never be free. In other words, and it's like the tyrant for Alan Watts, right? That you, as long as you believe you have to protect yourself from something, there is something to protect yourself from. And so you'll never be free because you'll always be in fear because you're always vulnerable to something, and you don't realize you're creating that vulnerability by believing that you're vulnerable. It's that simple. Because you're scared, you've locked yourself within your house and pulled down all the shades. Now it's dark and you want to feel the sunlight, but you can't. It's impossible. If you close and protect yourself, you are locking this scared, insecure person within your heart. You will never be free that way. Ultimately, if you protect yourself perfectly, you will never grow. All your habits and idiosyncrasies will stay the same. Life becomes stagnant when people protect their stored issues. People say things like, we don't talk about that subject around your father. There are all these rules about things that are not supposed to happen outside because they could cause disturbance inside. We're so afraid of the inside disturbance, isn't it? When really that's the worst part of many life experiences. And it's the one thing we have control over, so we can make it not so bad so we don't fear it so much, or just not have the disturbance and wait till the actual life happens. One happens. It's like we're proactive in the one area that is ineffective. Let me prep myself for trauma that hasn't come. Living like this allows for very little spontaneous joy, enthusiasm, and excitement for life. Most people just go from day to day protecting themselves and making sure nothing goes too wrong. This reminds me of the Brene Brown quote that says, you can either, instead of being disappointed, we choose to live disappointed. And so we just don't reach for anything. We don't ask, we don't desire, but cross on Abraham with that. If you're not desiring and asking, things aren't coming and happening. And there's something inside of us that knows we're wasting our life, and then we kind of just won't want to be here, because what's the point if we're not growing and we're also scared and locked inside of what? Of each other? When you can only attract according to your thoughts, it is only the violent, fearful mind that can have violent, scary things happen. At the end of the day, when someone asks, how was your day? A normal response is, not too bad, or I'll survive. I'll survive. What is that telling you about their view of life? They see life as a threat. Think about that. I'll survive, or not too bad. A good day means you made it through without getting hurt. And how many people ask them, how are you doing today? They're like, I'm great. I'm on the right side of the grass. And I'm like, that's the bar? That's just the baseline, right? I'm alive. Okay, let's get going. I want a lot more than that. The longer you live like this, the more closed you become. If you really want to grow, you have to do the opposite. Real spiritual growth happens when there is only one of you inside. There's not a part that's scared and another part that's protecting that part that's scared. All parts are unified. We're using all parts of the buffalo here. Because there is no part of you that you're not willing to see. The mind is no longer divided into the conscious and subconscious. And this would relate to what Abraham says when really knowing how you feel, that a lot of people don't acknowledge their real vibrational set point because they're pretending to be fine all the time. That would fall into this category. You're split. You think, I'm positive. I'm such a joyful, law of attraction, positive person, or any reason. Many people will say, I'm doing good, but really they're not. And you can sense they're not, and you can see they're not by what they're attracting, right? You're not a great positive space. You just think you are. And since you're not real with you about where you are, then you can't bridge the gap to get where you want to be, because there's two of you. You're split. There's the fake you, and we all have personas that operate, but still your persona can know where you're at, but you still need to know where you're really at. I'm sad, I'm this, rather than saying, I don't get sad, I don't get mad. We're all the things, so it's still happening. And then there's a split inside of you. You want to be unified. So if you feel bad, just own it. I'm super sad today and I'm mad today. Just be unified, or at least know where you are, because then you can shift it when you're unified. Everything you see inside is just something you see inside. It's not you, it's what you see. There is simply the pure energy pouring inside of you that creates the ripples of thoughts and emotions. And there is the consciousness that's aware of it. There is simply you watching the dance of the psyche. What is this referencing? Vibration. The vibration is pouring out of you. It's everywhere. And it's our choice what we focus on. And what we focus on determines what grows in our life, whether it's positive, whether it's negative, and what is our measure? How we feel, which is so new. Not if it's smart, not if people approve of it, not if it's cool, not if it looks good, not if it makes, gets a lot of likes or anything like that. It's about how does it make you feel? And remembering that getting out there and getting your butt kicked is what life is all about. I love what this is talking about. You got to get messy. You got to get out there. You got to get in the arena, to quote Brene Brown again. Get in the arena. Live your life. So many people think the goal in life. I remember one video I posted was public, and this guy made this really nasty comment one time on Facebook that was like, if you're having to start over, because it was the clean slate project. I was talking about, having a clean slate. If you're having to start over, you're doing everything wrong, and that's shame on you. Nothing should ever fall apart. My life is consistent and I have the same things. And I was thinking it reminded me of someone I really cared about in LA, Shlomi. He did the same thing every day. He wanted the same predicted result, and I would joke with him because he had what I would call intense OCD, not to put a label on it, but to put a label on it. And I would say, I found this quote that said, the goal is to live, 365 days, not the same day 365 times. And he would be like, but why not? Because of this, because we want to be able to predict our results, because we think the name of the game is protection. Not getting hurt is the goal, which means we've missed the point of how the hurt expands our appreciation for what occurs in life. Let's take the grief of my bunny, a tiny thing. I'll try not to cry, but the kitty, the bunny, the dog, all in the last couple weeks, beloved family pets. And grief hurts. And some people would say, I'm never going to own another pet because it hurts. This is where we can choose between something hardening us or softening us, or how we use our life experiences to expand or retract, right? So saying I'm never going to own another pet, that's closing. I'm going to protect myself. Then you don't have the incredible experience of loving another animal and the support. And here's the real thing. As you open to the pain and loss and really letting it in and reflecting on, was I a good, pet parent? Was I this? All these things happen when you lose a pet. Did I really appreciate every moment? So when you're willing to go with it rather than closing and say, I'm just never going to get another one and that's it. Death is, I can't deal with it. You open and say, okay, why does this hurt? And where does it hurt? And okay, maybe I should have spent more time there. And maybe I could have done this differently. And maybe I didn't appreciate those times or realize how temporary they were at that time. So when you get the another pet, or you have that connection in the same way, you will feel it differently. You'll appreciate it differently. Like when I got Einstein, I was so appreciative of his youthful body because of Nala getting old. And her body is sort of falling apart at the end, or just not performing anymore. And I had a whole different appreciation for him than before. And so when you can open and soften, you become more connected, more present, more like, what do I want to create? What's my intention in relationship, right? And that's just a little example. This is everywhere in life at many layers, in many ways in our lives, that we can open when pain occurs and allow it to soften and expand us. Humility, letting go of pride. When pain hits, pride can be a huge component in certain forms of pain and loss. But we always have that choice to close or open. But what are we really choosing? We're choosing to grow and expand, or not, to stagnate and make ourselves miserable or sick, or, all the things. So anyway, that just really spoke to me today. Just was flipping around, popped up, and it spoke to me, and I wanted to share it. I hope you have an amazing day. This is a time of reflection, a time of appreciation. My heart is full. My birthday's in 2 days. So lots happening. I'm sure there is for you too. And I hope that speaks to you as well. I love you. Bye. Till the next time, more bunny videos.